Hey guys, it's LegoMatic9 and today I'm doing another Lego customizing tutorial, and this is over the extended legs. So we're going to be making a pair for you guys today. I'll be walking you guys through the process. It's actually a very simple process. I believe this design was first made by Bill Bobful, at least that's where I saw it first, so definitely go check him out. I'll post a link in the description below to his Flickr page. So on my Negan video, over Billy's Negan actually, that I posted a few weeks ago, a lot of you guys are requesting a tutorial on how to do the extended legs, and it's a pretty simple process, so I thought, might as well show you guys. So before we jump into the actual tutorial, I just want to apologize for not having a video up in like 3 weeks. Actually, my senior year of high school has just ended, so I'll be graduating in a few days, and so I've been like stressing out over finals and stuff and dealing with this event. So I apologize for not having a video out, and especially this video. I've had this video planned for a while, and I apologize for not having this out any sooner. So let's go ahead and dive into the materials you'll need for this process. Alright, so the legs we're going to be making today will just make your figures a little taller than the average Lego minifigure, and they're not going to make them as tall as like putting Woody legs or something like that on your figures. These are just going to make them just noticeably taller than your average Lego figure. Like if you're making a character like Chewbacca or something like that, that is taller than just a random person, then yeah, this is the technique you'll want to use. So the parts you'll need Lego-wise are just a pair of legs and two 1x1 plates. And then you'll need an X-Acto knife, most likely, unless you have a pair of these. Well, you'll probably need that anyway, but you'll also need a pair of wire cutters like this. It just makes this process a lot easier. Yeah, you can get it done with an X-Acto knife, but it's just going to take longer. So these are just an easy way out. Then you'll need some form of sandpaper or sanding material, something like that. Just like my Luke Skywalker lightsaber tutorial, you'll need one of a lower grit for just, sanding really quick, and then you'll need one for a more finer grit. And then you also probably need a pair of tweezers. We'll see in the tutorial if we end up needing those. You'll definitely need some super glue of some sort. And then this is where the kind of optional part comes in. So if you're making a figure with boots, you're going to need electrical tape. If you're going to be making a figure that doesn't have boots, and then you'll want to have some sort of sculpting material. So I'm using Procreate, so that's going to be what I'm using. Like if I'm making Chewbacca, then I'm going to basically be sculpting everything. But if you're making Negan or something like that, someone with boots, then go ahead and you can either sculpt it in if you want, or you can use electrical tape. But we'll get to that a little later. So let's go ahead and start up this tutorial. So first off, I would definitely take the legs off of the hip joint and just set that to the side, because what we're going to want to do first is get rid of that foot part, just the part that extends out of the leg, so we're going to want to cut that off. So what you guys can do is you could actually just use some really low grit sandpaper or something like that and just file it off, or you can use your X-Acto knife and cut it off, but what I'm going to do is use these big wire cutters and I'm going to cut that off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So there you go, that's it with the foot cut off right there. So you're going to do that to the other one, and then you might want to sand the front. If you're not planning on putting electrical tape over that, then you might want to just sand that front, because you can see there's some plastic still there, so you might want to go ahead and just sand that a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that we have those feet cut off, the next part is going to be utilizing these plates right here. So what we're going to be doing is basically, you're just going to be sticking the legs on like that, and you can see that there's a little part of that stud still sticking out. So using your X-Acto knife or your wire cutters or whatever you want, you're going to clip off just the amount of that stud about that big. It can be a little bigger, but you don't want to make it too small, because I feel like that might, this is the first time I'm doing it this way, because before I used to just cut the stud clean off, but this way it's just going to be a lot easier for lining up the feet right. So go ahead and just cut off a little bit of that stud right there, and I'll get back to you. So basically what I was shooting for there was something like this, where just part of the stud is missing, but you can see on one of them I kind of messed up. So yeah, it kind of messed up on that one. So this one's going to kind of like sit weird like that. But this one is more going to have like a guide, because that stud's going to kind of like keep the legs centered in there. So that was the main purpose of that. So at this point in this process, if you're not wanting to make your figure extended all the way like we're doing, this is where you'd shave down the legs a little bit. So that's like what I did for my Negan, and what Billy did for his Negan, I think. So if you wanted to make your figure a little just a little taller than the normal Lego legs, then this is where you just shave down the bottom of these so they're not as tall. So now we're going to move on to the gluing stage. So for this part, this is where I'd bring in some other Lego bricks just to have as a kind of like a base for your legs. And I definitely put the legs back on the hip piece here just because it's a lot easier. So basically what I was thinking about doing, this is the first time I've been doing something like this, because usually I glue the feet on there just individually. But what I'm thinking is if you just put glue, not a lot of glue, just some glue on the bottom of the legs here, and you put those on there like that, and you know, push down, make sure they stick and stuff, and then also make sure that no glue goes in between these plates here. This is definitely a better way to be doing this, because before, in the ways I've been doing it before, sometimes the feet wouldn't actually like peg in once you glue the feet on here, and then you try putting them on a Lego plate or something like that. Just put them on a stand of some sort. Sometimes the feet would be too wide apart or too narrow, so you'd have to go into the bottom of the plate and like carve it out so the hole at the bottom is bigger so they can plug in to the studs. So this way, all you'll have to do is just sand down the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and try this out. So once you have those glued on here like that, just let them dry for a little bit, just depending on your glue. So I'm going to let these dry for like 15 minutes. So once your glue has dried, the next thing you'll want to do is take some of your sanding materials and you're going to want to sand like this little edge off. So you can see that there's a little edge here, and then there'll also be one right here too. So what you want to do is just take your sanding material and just sand off that edge so it's just one flush pattern going straight down. So go ahead and do that, and we'll move on to the final steps. So now we have those sides nice and flush. The feet and the legs are nice and straight down. So if you're making a figure that has boots or something like that, I would use some electrical tape and just wrap it all the way around the holes like that. So like on my Negan here, you can see that I use tape and I just wrapped it all the way around the legs like that. So if you're making a figure with boots, use electrical tape. Now on like if I take Billy's Negan for example, you can see here he has boots, but what Billy did is he just filled in the holes. So if you're making a figure that's not wearing boots, you can fill the holes in there with some sort of sculpting material. So I'm using Procreate. You can find it on Amazon or whatever. It's a really good sculpting putty. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in those holes with some Procreate. Procreate takes a few hours to harden up or cure, so I'm going to go ahead and just finish off this video now. So after your sculpting material hardens, then you want to go ahead and just sand it down so it's nice and smooth and flush with the legs. Then you can go ahead and paint it whatever color you want. If you want it to match with the Lego color, then go ahead and paint it whatever color that is. So that is it for this video. You guys are done with the extended legs. So hopefully you guys found this tutorial useful. It's a pretty simple process, and I was glad to do it for you guys because a lot of you were requesting it. So that is pretty much it for this video. So if you guys do use this tutorial to help you out, please give me credit, as well as you might want to give Billy some credit too, Bill Bobful, since he's the one who kind of came up with this design, or at least that's who I saw it from. So I don't know what my next video will be. I do have this figure in the works right now, so we'll see how that goes if I can get them done in the next week or so. Hopefully I can. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. Go ahead and check out my social media accounts. All of them will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever you want, and I'll see you guys later.